Assalamu alaikum students. I am your science teacher Wasim sir. I hope all of you are fine. In my last video I have explained the first part of chapter 4. In this video I am going to explain second and last part of chapter 4. So first topic of today's explanation is separation of substances. There are usually two types of substances, soluble substances and insoluble substances. Okay, substances that get completely dissolved or mixed in a solvent to form a solution are known as soluble substances. Again I am saying substances that get completely dissolved or mixed in a solvent to form a solution are known as soluble substances. For example, salt and sugar get dissolved in water completely. So salt and water are examples of soluble substances. On the other hand, substances that do not dissolve completely in a solvent are called insoluble substances. For example, sand and mud are insoluble in water. Now, there are many ways in which we can separate substances from a solution. Soluble and insoluble substances are separated from solution by using different methods. Soluble substances can be separated by heating the solution. For example, from a salt solution we can separate salt by heating the salt solution. After heating for some time the water will evaporate and only salt particles will be left behind. But we can't separate insoluble substances by heating the solution. Insoluble substances are separated from a solution by the processes of filtration and sedimentation and decantation. In filtration, a solution containing insoluble substance is passed through a filter paper. After doing that, we will see that the liquid will pass through the filter paper easily, but the insoluble substances will not be able to pass through the filter paper, and insoluble substances get retained on the filter paper. For example, if we pass a solution of sand and water through a filter paper, we will see that the water will pass through the filter paper, but the sand particles will get retained on the filter paper. In this way, we can separate sand and water. Another process of separating insoluble substances is sedimentation and decantation. It will be easier to understand this process if all of you look at the diagram carefully. If we take a solution of mud and water in a beaker and leave it undisturbed for some time, we will see that mud will settle down at the bottom of the beaker. This process of settling down of mud or insoluble solids at the bottom of the beaker is known as sedimentation. Now we will see two layers in the beaker. The lower layer contains mud and the upper layer contains clear water. Now if we pour the upper clear water from that beaker into another beaker, we will be able to separate mud from water. This process of pouring upper clear water from one container to another container without disturbing the insoluble solids is known as decantation. So the process by which insoluble substances settle down is known as sedimentation, and the process of pouring water from one container to another container is known as decantation. So this is the end of this chapter. I hope all of you don't have any problem in any topic of this chapter. So all of you should take care of yourself until I come up with my next video. Allah Hafiz.